Today, we are going to be making this cute little egg charm. The materials you will need will be also listed in the description box below. Starting off, you will need air dry modeling clay, yellow and white paint, as well as a paintbrush. This is optional, but if you want, you could use pliers and a keyring. I'm going to use these circular items to help shape the egg later on. Since I don't have a rolling pin, I will be using a marker, and lastly, you will need glue. Alright, let's get started. To start off, you're going to make 2 balls out of the modeling clay. Then, you're going to flatten them using a rolling pin. As I'm showing you, since I don't have a rolling pin, I'm using a marker. Make sure that it's thin, but not super thin nor super thick. Roll it till you get the shape that you need. Now, I'm going to use a circular object that I have to mold out a circle, and then remove the excess part off. Alright, now that's done, you're going to use your finger to smooth out the edges with your finger, and do it all around. Give it a little tap here, and then you can put the excess aside, and you're going to do the same thing for the yolk part. The only difference is that I'm using a smaller shape for the yolk. Other than that, everything else is the same. Again, you're going to smooth out the edges a little bit if you want, and if the size is as you like, then you can proceed. You can also use scissors to cut off any excess that you see, and so that it comes into a smoother shape. I forgot to mention this step, but the bigger white circle, you may make a hole in it if you wish to make it into a keychain. Just smooth out a little more if there's any need to do so, and then you're done. Now you're going to leave both the circles to dry for at least a few hours before proceeding to the next step. Now moving on, you're going to paint the bigger circle white and the small circle yellow. If it doesn't work in the first layer, you may layer them a few times to get the color you like. Once they're done, you're going to take the yolk part and stick it on top of the white part, like so. I'm using a paintbrush for better control. And just like that, don't press it too hard, otherwise it may break. Now for the last part, you're going to open your keyring and you're going to put the charm into it like so. And there it is. Thank you for watching. So these are the materials that we're going to use. You're going to need your box that you want to decorate, white glue, glitter, and I'm using 2, and I'm using a fork, so I'm going to mix those together, and a paintbrush for control for the glue. You can use any color you like. I'm going for blue and golden, but of course you can choose any other color you're comfortable with. You could go with 1 color, 4 colors, whatever you like. So I just mixed my 2 colors, blue and golden, together. I'm using a fork and also shaking the bowl. And now I'm going to just put the glue all over the little box, like that. And now I'm going to use my paintbrush to help spread the glue all over the box. Spread the glue all over, even on the sides, and cover the whole thing. Once you're done covering it with glue, you're going to take your glitter and you're just going to put it all over the box, and then you're going to remove the excess. I'm using a paper underneath to help me collect all the excess that's there, and just like that, you're going to cover pretty much the whole box. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the excess and put it back into the bowl like that, so you can keep on reusing that same one. The paper underneath helps with better control so that you don't have a mess going on everywhere. Trust me when I say this, I have glitter all over my table and had to clean it several times. And just like that, you're going to keep on repeating this step till the entire thing is covered. I didn't do the sides at that time, so I'm just going to put glue all over it and then cover it in glitter again. For the last part, I just added a cute little flower on top to complete the look. Moving on to the second idea. Again, you're going to need a box that you want to decorate, pearls, and a star charm, but you can use anything else that you like. Ribbon, glitter, paint, a paintbrush and palette, white glue, and a hot glue gun. After mixing my colors, I painted the top, and I'm using my finger to spread it out. So the reason why I'm using my finger and not a paintbrush was because a paintbrush was giving some gaps in between, so I'm just using my finger to smooth it out. Let me give you a close look of what I mean, and this is when it happens when I spread it out with my finger. Now I'm going to apply paint on the sides as well. Again, just using my finger and spreading it out like that. Once you're done, you're now going to wait for a few hours for the paint to dry and then proceed on to the next step. Once it's dried, now you're going to take the white glue and spread it on the top like that. I'm using a paintbrush to help me spread it around. And now I'm going to use my fingers to just spread it all over. Now I'm just going to take the glitter and put it on top of the glue like that. I'm not going to cover the entire thing with glitter like the previous one, just a little bit here and there. For the next part, we're going to take the pearl and hot glue. Please be extremely careful while using it. You do not want to burn yourself. And I'm just going to place the pearl on like that. And now you're going to do this all around. Now that I'm done with that, I'm just going to take the star charm and put it in the middle like that. Like I mentioned before, you can use anything else that you like. Now I'm going to take my ribbon and measure how much I need. Now I'm going to take the white glue and put it on top of the ribbon like that. And you're just going to stick it like that to the side. This is the finished look. Comment down below what you thought of these ideas and whether you've tried them or not. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Here are the materials you're going to need. A cylindrical can, white glue, and I'm also going to be using a paintbrush for control, push pins, scissors, scale, blue construction paper and A4 paper. You can use any color you like. Glitter foam. And a hot glue gun. Let's get started. So starting off, you're going to take your scissors and foam, and I'm going to show you how you're going to make the triangles. You can use a scale and pencil if you like, but I'm just going to go for freestyle. Cut it up like this. Cut it up like that. You can make any shape that you like, hearts, circles, squares. It doesn't have to be triangles. I'm going to show you another way that you can make them. First, you're going to take a rectangular piece and just cut it like that. And do the same thing on the other side like that. So you can just keep on repeating this and you can get easy triangles like this. Once you're done making the triangles, just put them aside. And now we're going to work on the cylindrical can. We're going to start off by putting our glue on top. And then stick the paper on very carefully. You do not want to burn yourself. Then wrap it around the can. So you reach the other end. And hot glue the other side like this. Again, be very careful while using the hot glue gun. Now using the scissors, we're going to cut off the excess that's lingering. And again, just glue the rest of it like that. Since the whole thing wasn't covered, using the A4 paper, I am going to make 2 strips for the top and for the bottom. Using the scale, I am just going to tear off a strip like that and just cut off the excess part. Now I'm just going to put glue on the top like that. And now I'm going to stick the strip on. We're going to do the same thing as we did for the blue paper. Once we're done with that, now moving along, we're going to take our push pins and just stick them in like that. Press it really hard, and then it'll go in after that. You're going to do the same thing for the other push pins as well. And do it the same thing all around. I'm going to put a push pin at the bottom as well, so that more bracelets can fit. You can even put push pins all around the can if you want it to be a ring holder. Once you're done putting in the push pins, now you're going to stick the triangles. Just place them randomly all over. I used hot glue instead of white glue because it stayed on much better. This is the final look. And now we are going to move on to the second one. Here are the materials you will need for the second one. Cylindrical can, again I'm using pink color strips, push pins, hot glue gun, markers, and scissors. Let's get started. So again, the same thing, you're going to put the paper onto the cylindrical can and use scissors to cut off the excess. Once you're done with that, you're going to use the strips and put them on top, as well as the bottom. Now using the markers, we are going to make random dots all over. You can make hearts, triangles, squares, any other shape that you like. Now you're going to push the push pins into the can. And again, do it all around. Same thing as we did the last time. This is the final look for the second one. Comment down below what you thought of these ideas and whether you would try them or not. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. These are the materials you'll need. You're going to need 4 different colors of paper, such as yellow, this yellow orchid, red, as well as recycling paper for the stencil that we'll be making later, A4 size paper for the card, scissors, glitter foam shards that I've taught you how to make in the previous video, markers, white glue, glue stick, pencil, and finally a scale. So we're going to start off by making the heart first. So you're going to take the red paper and the recycling paper. You're going to fold the recycling paper in half. Using the pencil, you're going to draw half a heart. Mine looks kind of wobbly, so I'm erasing that part off and fixing it. Now that we're finished with that, we're going to cut it. Now that we're done cutting it, we're going to take the stencil that we've made, and using the pencil, we're going to trace a heart on top of the red construction paper. Let me show you up close what the heart looks like. I'm sure you can't see it clearly, but I'm going to show you after we're done cutting it. Finished with the cutting, now let's move on. Now we're going to take our A4 size paper and fold it in half. Now we're going to take our heart that we just made, take the glue stick, and spread it on top of the heart. Make sure that you don't forget to do the sides of the heart, because then it'll curl up and it won't look good. So make sure you put glue all over the heart. Then stick the card on top. It's time to make the bandage. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scale and pencil and you're going to draw 2 straight lines. And then you're going to kind of make a curve and connect both the lines together. Do the same thing for the bottom. Now it's time to cut it up. Okay, so we're almost there. Now we're going to take our yellow construction paper. It doesn't need to be a lot. And we're going to cut up a square. Now I'm just going to cut up the rough edges and cut it even smaller. Now we're going to apply glue, and I'm going to cut it up later once I put it on top. Now I'm just going to cut up the axis and put it to the side. Now taking our brown marker, we're going to make 4 dots like this. And there you have it, your bandage. Now we're just going to take the bandage and stick it on top of the heart. Now I'm just going to use the black marker and write "Get well soon." But if you don't want to write it on the heart, you could always write it at the bottom. So I kind of realized I think my heart looked kind of plain, so I wanted to add a little bit of more detail to it. So if you want, you could just outline the heart when you're done cutting it instead of when you stuck the heart on the card, because then it's kind of difficult. You don't want to mess it up by putting the marker on the card. Now since we're done with that, we're going to move on to the next step, which is basically taking our foam shards. This is kind of a long procedure, but hopefully it's worth it in the end. You're going to take one shard at a time, put glue on it, and stick it on top of the card. And you're going to cover the entire card with it. So this is the final look. Now for the inside of the card, you can do anything you like. You could write something to them, or you could even stick pictures. Whatever you want to do, go ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this idea and whether you would try. So these are the materials you'll need: printable stickers, glue stick, scissors, pencil, scale, markers, A4 size paper, but you could use any other paper you like. Alright, so how to get the stickers is basically you're going to go to either Google or Pinterest and type in something along the lines of food stickers or food stickers printable, food stickers aesthetic, food stickers free printable, etc. And click search, and you're going to get these different types of sticker ideas over here. And so you're going to choose whichever one you like according to your style and print them out. Now I will show you how to cut one of these ones. The same thing you're going to do. Cut it up and be very careful while you're cutting. Just going to trim off some of the white parts that I'm seeing on top here. Right. For the next step, what you're going to do is you're going to take your A4 paper, fold it in half like this, really well, open it up, and then using your scale, you're going to tear it off. Like that, okay? And you can see these rough sides, which you, with the scissors, you can just trim them off. Like this. If you find that even after trimming it, the edges look uneven and it doesn't look neat, what you can do is, using your scale and pencil, is draw a line. And then cut so that it looks neater than before. There you go. Much better, isn't it? So the next part we're going to do is we're going to take our scale, and I'm going to be using a brown color marker and just outline the sides. Like this. I'm just going to fill the sides in using the marker. Okay. And if you want to make it thicker, you can make thicker. I think I'm going to go for a little bit of more thicker. And you're going to do this to all the four sides. So now that we're done with the borders, now we're going to use our scale and pencil and basically make lines on the inside, like another border type. So this is like a frame. Okay. And I've done it to all four sides. And now we're going to take our marker and put it on top of the pencil. Alright, so I'm going to tell you an easier way that you can do the borders. What basically I did is I took the scale and the marker and basically have a scale that's the approximate size of your paper. And you're just going to take the marker and scale and go in a line like that. And it really just creates a perfect one. And just, you're going to fill in the gaps like that. And then you're good to go. So now that we're done with the borders, we're going to make another border inside using our pencil and scale. You can choose how wide you want it to be. And you're going to do that to all four sides. You could go straight with the marker, but I decided not to, and best to be on the safer side and draw it with a pencil. So yeah. Now we're going to take our scale and marker and draw the line. I'm not going to make them as thick as this border, but I am going to make them just a little bit thick. Same method that we used before. And do this to all the four sides. Okay. I kind of want to use this idea of these little doodles that they've done over here and pretty much do it over here all around. So choosing the colors which go with my stickers, which is red, green, yellow, and I've already done brown. So I'm kind of going to just go with that. I'm going to make like a little diamond and then swirl another swirl, little sprinkle type, and this sign. Okay, hopefully that'll look good after. So since I'm going to be going with doodles, if you don't like the idea, you could always go for something else if you have any idea in your mind. So this is how mine looks like after it's done. So now what we're going to do is take our scale and pencil, and we're going to draw lines like this. And you're basically going to do that till the bottom. So once you're done with the lines, this is how it's going to look. I'm sure you can't see it. But now what we're going to do is take our marker and scale. I'm using a gray color marker, and draw on the lines. So try not to touch the ends because they're going to mash into one color then, so be careful with that. So now that we're done with the lines, we're finally going to move on to the sticker part. I'm going to take our glue and sticker, and I'm going to put it all over the sticker. And you can stick them wherever you like. I'm just going to stick mine here. Corner. I'm going to take my other one. Same thing. All right, and now we're done. So for the final step, we're just gonna erase the extra lines that are there. The lines that we drew for the marker, just erase those lines. And there you have it. So these are some of the other ideas that I have. This one and this one. And then I've of course showed you how to make this one. So yeah. They're the same method, except for this one I just use coloring pencil for the inside. Other than that, there is no difference in the materials. So these are the ideas. Comment down below what you thought of this idea and whether you tried it or not. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. So these are the materials you'll need. Cardboard, egg carton flowers, which I showed you in a previous video, and I'm going to be using crepe paper instead of beads for my flowers. Scissors, glue stick, white glue, as well as hot glue, and some gems. And these are some printed out quotes, you could say, that I have that I'm going to be using for this design. You'll also need a scale and a pencil, as well as construction paper, paint. I forgot to mention, as well as using this white color paint, as well as this yellow ochre color. You'll also need a palette and a paintbrush. If you want, you can use a little bit of water to help mix the colors together. So for the egg carton flowers, what you're going to do is take the crepe paper, and I'm going to be taking my glue stick, and you're basically going to put glue in the middle right here, and you're going to take a small part, okay, and just scrunch it up of the crepe paper and put it in the middle like this. Now, if you don't like that idea, then you could always take some white, brown paint or yellow and put it in the middle of the flower. Or you could do the old bead idea that I showed you in the previous video. Anything that works for you, go ahead and do it. So now just like that, I'm going to cover all the flowers with the crepe paper in the middle. Now that we're done with the flowers, we're going to move on to the next step. So now what you're going to do is take your scale, pencil, and cardboard, and you're going to draw a frame. And we're going to cut out pretty much this inside right here. So now we're going to take our cardboard, scale, and pencil, and we're going to make a frame. So starting off, you can choose however much width you need for your frame. I'm just going to go for this much and then draw a line. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. As well as the top part here. Connect a lot. Oh dear. Here it is. I'm not sure if you can properly see it. Now we're going to cut this out. So now we're going to take our scissors, and I'm basically just going to stab this and pretty much kind of like make a hole so that, you know, I can cut out the frame. And so here you go. So this is the method I use to cut out. I don't know if there's an easier method. I kind of find this easier for me, that you just make a hole at some point anywhere and just kind of go inside and cut it. So yeah. I'm going to use a stronger pair of scissors because those did not work for me. This is a little hard to work with. So when you're coming towards the edges, obviously you have to be careful. You can kind of like go randomly and play in this area, but you got to be very careful when it comes to the actual part, which is these lines that you're going to be cutting for anything actually. So I'm just going to be careful while we do this. And also make sure that we don't hurt ourselves either while we're working. This is just like a recycled cardboard piece. I'm not using anything special in case you're wondering. All right, so this is, I'm not sure if you can see it in camera, hold on. So this is how it looks like. And this is the exact paper that I'm going to be basically putting it underneath once we're kind of just done with the sides and everything. So yeah. So now that we're done with the frame, we're going to continue painting it. I've mixed my two colors and we're just going to continue painting it. Just a reminder, put two paper or a sheet or something underneath so that you don't spoil your table. And now you're basically just going to paint the entire frame. If it looks kind of weird after giving just one coat, you could give it several coats after, once you're satisfied with how it looks. I'm just going to use my finger to smooth it out, because with the paintbrush I can actually see there's some like gaps and stuff, so I wanted to just use my finger for the final touch, this, and just spread it. You can do this by wearing gloves. I don't have any plastic ones, so I'm not going to be using them. Once you're done painting the frame, you're just going to leave it for a few hours to dry. So this is how the frame looks like after we are done painting it. I've given it, I think, about 2 or 3 coats, and I've let it dry overnight. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is basically taking 2 construction paper, or you can use 1 construction paper. I'm going to go for this 2 type 1. You can do whatever you like. So basically we're going to take our 2 construction paper and we're going to glue it to the other side. It's a very messy side, I know, but no one's going to see that because I'm going to stick it after, hopefully. So no one's really going to see the back. Okay, so like this, we're going to stick it. You can take your hot glue or white glue. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to go for the white glue. Just going to put it to the sides. Like that. Okay. And then you're going to take your construction paper and smooth it out like this. So we put our first construction paper on, and I'm just going to cut off the excess. Okay, just to the side, and then we're going to do the other side with just putting glue. Now we're going to take our paper, put it on top. And then you're going to flip it. Okay. I'm just going to remove it, the excess like this. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing, which we're going to cut the excess off. So this is how it looks like. Now we're going to move on to the next step, where we're going to stick our quotes. So now we're going to stick the quotes. So you can choose any quotes you like, and we're just going to glue them. So we're gonna I'm gonna be sticking them slantways like this. And basically just stick all the quotes. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we're going to stick the flowers all over the frame. Alright, so now we're basically just going to stick the flowers. You're going to take your hot glue, put it on the flower, and stick it like this. And do it for all the other flowers. For the final part, which is the gems part, you can do this if you like, or if you don't want to add it and you think it's just fine like that, that is also alright. So you're going to take your gem, put glue at the back, and carefully put it on to your piece, like that. And just like that, you're basically going to stick, you can put it randomly anywhere, or if you want to go in like a pattern, you can do it like that. I'm just gonna try stick it randomly everywhere. So this is the final look. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this idea and whether you tried it or not. Do give this video a like and share it with your friends and family. I'll see you in the next video. These are the materials you'll need: cardboard, hot glue gun, palette, paintbrush, paint, silver glitter, rope. You're going to need plenty more, scissors, and I'm going to be using pre-made letters, but if you don't have this, then you're going to need any kind of paper, scale, and scissors, and pencil for this one. And I'm going to show you later in the video how you're going to make those letters, so don't worry. So let's get started. Okay, so I have a tip for you. When you're going to be putting glue on top of the cardboard, or when you're going to put it on top of the rope, just kind of pull the rope a little tight so that it comes straight like this. Okay, so kind of just try and pull it straight like this. Okay, this is how it worked out for me when I did it. It's pretty straight, and I'm maybe going to try cutting off this excess cardboard that you see, but this is how it went for me, and if you want to try doing it this way, you can. And then you're pretty much going to go all the way up here, or if you're starting from up here, then all the way down here. You're gonna go, you can go for one color, or you could go for multicolored like I am. That's totally up to you. Alright, so now we're gonna try by putting the hot glue on the rope. I find the other method easier, but this way it looks neater. Just gonna put the hot glue, and then you're just going to stick it. Be careful when you're sticking the rope on the cardboard because you don't want to burn yourself. I know I say this a lot in my videos that, guys, please be careful while you're using the hot glue gun. Please do, because I have gotten a burn from the hot glue gun before and it hurts really badly. So please be very careful. Once you're done sticking the rope, you're just going to snip off the excess. Sorry for my bad camera angle, I couldn't show you properly. So once you're done sticking the rope on the cardboard, on low heat, I'm going to slightly burn the ends since they were very bushy. So be very, very careful while you're doing this. You don't want to burn yourself. So this is how it looks like after we've burnt the sides. Kind of like this. I went for a rainbow aesthetic. Obviously, you can choose whatever you like. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is what we're going to be sticking on top. So now we're going to take our glitter and we're just going to add very little amounts to it. We're not going to add too much. And I have not added glue or anything to this, so this is just like a little detail that I wanted to add. Just going to sprinkle on some glitter. I'm going to show you how to do the letters. So you're going to take your scale and pencil, and I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to be making the letter B. So we're going to draw the line, and we're going to make two curves like this. So now we're going to draw another line behind it like this, and basically give it a 2D kind of look. And just like that. Alright, now we're going to cut this. So for letters like this, obviously you have to be very careful while cutting because you have this inside that you have to cut as well. So I'm going to start by cutting the outer part. Like this. Be very careful. while you're cutting.
All right, so now for the inside part, you're going to take your pencil, carefully poke a hole. I would recommend you use smaller scissors for the inside because it's easier to navigate, but I don't have that option right now, so I'm going to go with the big ones. And so you're going to be very careful while you're cutting this, like that. Just like that. Be very careful while you're cutting. You don't want to ruin the letter. Like this. Like that. It's actually harder to do the inside. I actually broke one trying to cut it, see? So you gotta be careful. All right, so we're gonna continue. Right here. I'm just gonna tear it off. And you're gonna do the same thing for the bottom. I feel like the paper is also really thin, which is why it can tear very easily. I feel like you should kind of do it with like good thick construction paper. Might as well go for that. Here we go. And snap, and just cut off the rest. Expose the bottom, like that. Then I'm just going to try fixing the top. I'm going to go inside. Okay. That, and there is your letter. All right, so the last part would be is to hot glue the letters on, and there it is. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this idea and whether you tried it or not. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.
These are the materials you'll need: air dry modeling clay, recycling paper. Since I don't have a rolling pin, I'm going to be using this old marker. Paint, you can use any color. I'm going for green, white, and brown. Something for the shape of the plate. And I'm going to be using cornstarch for the final touches, as well as a knife. Now I forgot to mention, but you also need a sifter. Alright, let's get started. So since we're making a mini roulade, we're basically going to take a little bit of clay and start turning it into a ball. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to flat it down a little bit, and using our rolling pin, we're going to roll the clay like this. Now you're basically going to make a long line, so you're going to roll it forward and make sure that you don't roll too hard that it gets stuck to the table. And do it same thing on the other side and kind of just flat it down. In the end, it should look like this, even if you're making a big roulade. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the knife and you're going to cut up the sides like this, and you're basically going to make strips. We're going to cut out the other side as well and just put the excess to the side. And I'm just cutting out the ends to make it look neat. Now that we've made our first one, you're also going to make the second one using the same steps. Now that we have our 2 strips, you're not going to wait for them to dry and you're just immediately going to paint them after. Now I'm taking my white paint and I'm just quickly painting that like this. So the reason why we didn't wait for our clay to harden is because then we wouldn't be able to shape it. So you need to cover it with paint as quickly as you can. I'm just going to be using my finger to smooth it out. And then we're going to flip it to the other side and paint the other side as well. You're going to do the same thing for the other one. Just quickly paint it, turn it over, and paint the other side as well. Once you're done, you're not going to wait for the paint to dry. You're going to take one of the strips, lift it up, and put it on top of the other one, just like that. Now you're going to roll the 2 strips so that they form a roll to make the roulade. Now that we're done making the mini roulade, on to the next step. The final piece that we're going to be making is the plate. So you're going to take a little bit of clay, roll it up into a ball, and then you're going to use the rolling pin to make a circular shape. Now I'm going to use this circular object and just cut the shape out. Now the mistake that I did was that I could have used a bigger shape for the plate, but I didn't realize that until after, so you can use a bigger one if you like. Once you're done making the shape, you're going to smooth out the edges. You could wait for the clay to harden, but I decided not to and just started painting ahead. And I'm using my finger to smooth it out. Now you're going to wait for the paint to dry. Now this is the fun part. You're going to take your sifter and cornstarch, put the cornstarch into the sifter, and then you're going to just gently shake the sifter and put it on top of the roulade. And that's how you make a mini roulade. Comment down below what you thought of this idea and whether you tried or not. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Alright, so today we are going to be making badges, scrolls, and booklets for the student council election. So it actually recently happened in my school and I decided to show you guys how you could make all those 3 things that I mentioned. The first idea we were going to be doing is the badges. So there are a lot of materials in the first one. Some are optional. So here are the materials that you're going to need. Cardboard, A4 size paper, colored paper, ribbon or safety pins or both depending on which one you were going to be doing, pencil, yarn, markers, and like a circular object for the badges we're going to be making, scissors, glue, this is paper glue, and hot glue as well.
So this is where it's optional. You can use glitter pens if you want, and I'm going to be using star stickers over here. Up to you if you want to use these. All right, so let's get started. So I forgot to mention, these are actually different sizes. This one is a smaller one and this is a bit bigger. So I'm going to be using the smaller one on the A4 size paper and the bigger one on the colored paper. So you're going to start off by taking your object and drawing circles on the paper. And you're going to do the same thing with both the papers. It's just different sizes. We're done making the circles, which I've made the bigger circles on the color paper. I have a tip for you. It's better you use small scissors. You don't have to if you don't have like smaller scissors, but I just think it's going to be easier for you to navigate and to cut as compared to bigger scissors. So that's my advice. Up to you. So now we're going to cut both the bigger circles and the smaller circles. So you're going to go around, and another tip I guess would be very careful, because you don't want to, like go in the wrong direction and end up cutting a wrong side. So be very careful while cutting, as well as for your fingers. All right, and now whatever uneven edges there are, I am just going to smooth them out. All right. I forgot to mention that we're actually supposed to do the same thing for the cardboard. This is actually a smaller piece, but the cardboard is going to go at the back of the badge. And the reason why, this is like a done badge, all right, right here that we have here. And you can see that it's actually very curled up and it doesn't have any stability. So I decided that it'd be a good idea if we keep a good like stern background. So we're going to be using cardboard for that. Cardboard, you're going to use the same size as you did for the colored paper or whatever paper you're using. So that's going to be the same size. So you're going to trace the circle, same thing for the cardboard as well, and cut it out. Now for this I recommend you use bigger scissors. I guess it depends on the stiffness on your cardboard, how stiff it is. This one doesn't seem too stiff, so I guess, I don't know, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna need bigger scissors for this one. Cardboard, we're gonna be using bigger scissors, and I'm just gonna cut this up. Right, and now you're going to make several of these, as many as you like and how many you need. So once you're done making the circles, the cardboard one, the colored one, and the A4 size paper one. So now what we're going to do is take the cardboard circle and put hot glue on it. And then we're going to stick the colored paper on top, and be very careful when you're doing that. You don't want to burn yourself. Once you're done with that, then you're going to take the scissors and just cut off any excess parts that you see. So now we're going to take the smaller circle, and then we're going to use our glitter pen, and we're going to write vote for, and then you're going to write the person's name at the bottom. And then you could also go for vote the person's name for president, vice president, treasurer, etc., depending on your school's positions. Now we're going to take the same circle, put glue at the back, and then stick it on top of the other one. I forgot to mention, you could add extra detail if you'd like. Around the smaller circle, using a marker, you could like make a border around it, or you could do the same thing for the colored one. Totally up to you what you want to do. And now we're going to take our marker and make dots around the smaller circle like this. And just do that all the way around. So now you could either put the star stickers on the side, or even if you don't want to, that's totally fine. I'm just going to be drawing mine using the glitter pen. I'm going to be making 4 stars like this. Once that's done, moving on to the next step, we're going to be making the little cute bows on the top. So we're going to be taking our yarn. So the method we're going to be using to make the bows is actually something that I learned from someone. So you're going to make 2 bunny ears using the yarn string like that. Let me show you again. You're going to make 2 bunny ears like this, and then you're going to tie those same bunny ears together, forming a knot. And there you have your bow. It's a little wonky, and I'm just gonna, like pull the sides, adjusting how big or small I want my bow to be. I'm gonna kind of make them like mini type of bows, and then just cut off the excess. And then be very careful while sticking the bow using your hot glue on the top. Once we're done with this, now we're going to move on to the next step. So at the back, we have the cardboard. I didn't stick anything at the back, but if you would like to put an extra piece of paper, the same size at the back, you can. So at the back, I decided to write a cute little hi over there. You can write a small little message, a quote, anything you like. So now I am going to be sticking the safety pin at the back since they're badges for me. But you could obviously use a ribbon and make them, like kind of like a bracelet sort of thing. If you are going to make ribbons, then I would suggest that you make them a bit smaller than the badges are. Alright, so now we're going to take our safety pins, and you would want to make sure which side you're using, meaning which side opens for the safety pin. Also, P.S., be careful when you're using the safety pin. You don't want to poke yourself. So once you know which side you're going to be sticking, you're going to take the hot glue, put glue on it, and then and then you're going to make sure that the hot glue is properly over the safety pin so that it doesn't come off, and you may need a little bit more glue on this one so that it's perfectly stable. So we're now going to let that dry for a few seconds. If the sides of your ribbon after cutting are very thick like this and bushy like that, so we're just going to burn the ends using the fire from the stove. Be extremely cautious while you're doing this, and make sure you do it on both sides. I've actually mentioned this in my previous video, but I used ropes there instead of ribbon. You should definitely check that video out. Okay, so let's say you have a situation where you took out the safety pin because it was the wrong side, or you're in a situation where you have hot glue stuck to a safety pin. What do you do in that situation? Well, you use scissors and you just snip the hot glue off, and mine came out pretty easily because there was really little on one side. So if you're ever stuck in such a situation, then you could just use this little hack. So this is the final look of the badges. I've made several more. Also, I wanted to ask you guys, today's comment of the day is that would you ever run for student president, vice president, or anything like that? Now we're going to do the second idea. So the materials for this are obviously less than the first one. So you're going to need construction paper, or you can use A4 size paper. I'm going to be using a black pen. You can use any other pen you like. Scissors or a scale. And if you want, you could use yarn or ribbon. I'm going to be going with yarn. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper and you're going to fold it once, twice, and I'm going to just do it twice because on this paper, I'm not going to get much space to write. So it depends on the size of paper, how many times you know, you can fold it and how much, you know, you need the size for the paper. Like for example, this I think I fold 4 times and on an A4 size paper, and this is how many you're going to get. So it really depends on many papers. Like this one also, the size varies. So whatever you feel comfortable with doing, you can do that. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pen, and you can write whatever you want. Like let's just say we write vote for example. And then you write whoever you want to. Oh, but before that, we're going to, you can either use scissors to cut it, but I'm more comfortable using a scale first, and then I'm going to use the scissors to, you know, clean the edges. Like this. Here we go. Okay, put that to the side. And now, once you've, you know, written down what you need to, you're going to just roll it. You could do it on one side or 2 sides, however you like this. And so I'm gonna roll it one more time, and then collect it together like this. And then I'm gonna take my yarn or your ribbon. Okay, I need to hold it a bit tighter. That. Now we're gonna take our ribbon or yarn, and I'm gonna cut the excess of how much I need and tie it like this. And then you can make a bow if you want, like I showed you in the previous one. Take 2 bunny ears and then try making a knot. I should have possibly cut it more. Okay, there you go. And there you have it. Here are a bunch of scrolls that my sister even helped me make them, you know, tying them up and all that. So this is the final look. And now we're going to move on to the next idea. So for the next one, you're going to need paper, and I don't have the material. So for the third and last one, these are the materials you're going to need. Construction paper or any other kind of paper, markers, scissors, scale, and a black pen or any other color pen. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our paper, and the same thing we did before, we're going to fold it once, twice, and I'm going to do it 3 times like this, and open it up like this. And then we're going to take our scale, or you can use scissors, and I'm just going to tear the pieces off like this. And since my paper is a bit wonky, you're going to have to hold this tight if you have, you know, uneven edges. And you're going to hold this kind of tight, otherwise the 2 papers are going to move. So you're going to hold them tight and cut it. Hold it tight again, and then cut it, okay? So you kind of have this booklet right here, okay? So I'm going to move this to a side and show you how you're going to decorate this. You can do it however you want. I'm just going to give you guys a general idea. So you're going to take your scale and marker, and you're going to make borders if you want for the side. And use your other marker to write whatever you want. I'm going to be writing open me with dots. And then you can write whatever you need to on the inside. Alright, and I've actually made several bunch of these right here. So, yeah. So,
yeah, this is the final look. Oh, and you're gonna write with the black pen, or you could use marker, but since I was using markers for the rest, I didn't use that. I think it looked nicer with that. So this is the final look. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a like, and please do subscribe and share it with your friends. Do let me know in the comment section what other type of videos you would like to see, and if you have any recommendations, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. I will try my best to see what I can do. See you guys in the next video. These are the materials that you're going to need. A glass bottle that you want to decorate, hot glue gun, yarn of any color. I'm going to be using gems, but you can use anything else to decorate.
Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your hot glue, put a little bit of glue on the top like this, and then you're going to take your yarn and put it on like this. Be very careful when using a hot glue gun. You're going to let this dry for a few seconds. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to twirl it around like this. And you're going to do that basically all around the bottle till the end.
So this is how it looks like after I've completely covered it with yarn and gems. So now I'm going to show you how you're going to put your gem on. You're going to take the gem and put hot glue on it. Be very careful while using it. And just place the gem like this. And that is end of the tutorial. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this idea and whether you tried it or not. See you guys in the next video.